So with that, I'd like to give the floor to Ms. Patricia Francis to give us closing remarks and to thank her for her leadership of ITC.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And my first thank you is to you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to participate in this event today, to be here, to be with us, and to actually lead the discussion, because I think you've done a fantastic job in leading the discussion. I also want to thank our friends from TASDIR and the Executive Director in particular for the solidarity with us today, and also for facilitating the process. And I have to let you know that we actually have lunch after this, and it's been facilitated by TASDIR, who has done this remarkable job of bringing together people from the national environment as well as our international audience. I think that there was a number of things that have been said this afternoon, particularly by Pascal Lamy and then by the presentation by Jean-Marie, which spoke to the framework within which we are operating and the opportunities that have been identified based on the reality of what we find today in trade, interregional trade in the Arab region. And I think that where the lesson, as our friend from the African Union has said, is there's a similar pattern that we see in Africa as well. And so there's also a lesson that we can take from this region into Africa as well. And therefore, the opportunities, we need to weigh the opportunities that exist and find and figure out, well, are we actually going to roll up our sleeves? Do we actually believe that we should make the effort to find those extra 2 million jobs? Because I think that we will be on the wrong side of history if we don't do the little things that we need to do in order to realize the potential for our youth, for our young people, for our women, and for ourselves. And I think that when we listen to our participants who are actually in business and listen to what is actually frustrating them, yes, free trade agreements are there to open the doors for us. But if we are not doing our homework ourselves, if we're not actually doing the work to make ourselves competitive, we will never be able to succeed. But I think the bigger challenge that we heard from Africa is how can we take now this opportunity of not only becoming more competitive in our commodity that we're exporting, but how can we take that to another level now to add value and to create greater levels of wealth for our people within the region. So I think, Mr. Chairman, my takeaway is that I have not heard anything that's impossible. I have not heard anything that's complicated. I have only heard things that's going to take coordination and that's going to take focus. And I think that if we focus on what is the vision, what is the roadmap to get us there, that indeed between all of the players that we have and the goodwill which we have, an opportunity which has been created, one by the opening which the Arab Spring has created for us to take a new road, that indeed if we come back here 5 years from now, we should be reporting on the success of having achieved much of what we are, what the potential which has been presented us today. So I would like to throw out the challenge to the Arab League, to members of the business community in this region, to look at how do we work together in order to accomplish this target and move forward together. And I think, Mr. Chairman, I came from the private sector myself, and my attitude to government was very much that of our colleague from Zambia. And the reason why I joined government was because I thought there were a bunch of stupid people who could never solve any problems together. And I thought maybe if I got into government, I would be able to add my piece of the puzzle and help them to solve simple problems. But of course, once you're on the other side of the fence, it becomes far more complex. And once you're in the complex world of the international organizations, it's even more complex. But I don't believe that any of this is too complex for us to overcome. And it just takes a lot of will, focus and effort. And we at the ITC are very willing to play the game and to be part of this process going forward. I'd like to thank you very much for sitting in this afternoon. We have documentation which we would be very happy to share with you. And we'd also like you to network with us outside and have a little, break a little bread together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.